Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This is First Principles and my name is Zaid. And the topic that I want to discuss with you guys today is the problem with overthinking and how it creates anxiety and creates problems in our lives. So without any further ado, let's get straight into the topic. So for the last couple of weeks, I was going through this patch wherein I was overthinking too much. It was just getting out of hand. And how I realized this was, or I was able to highlight this with myself, was that when I was in Goa for the leadership summit, and one of my colleagues pointed out that Zed, you are an anxious guy, is what she highlighted, and kind of felt a bit. I didn't feel offended, but then I was like, okay, let me think about it. So this was before we were going to have an important call, and there were 20 other leaders in the room, and I was given the responsibility to take the lead on that call and the agenda. So I was just thinking whether it will go well or not, and I was just pacing, and there were 18, 19 people, other people in the room who were just relaxed, right? So I was a bit too anxious and I was a bit worked up, and I just thought it should go well and all that. So what I realized was, once I got back to Mumbai, I started to look back. And when I actually looked inside myself, I did a little bit of introspect. I realized that yes, this problem of overthinking has really overtaken me in the last year or so. But the last couple of 3 to 4 weeks has been just too much. So much so that it has actually started affecting my health and affecting my physiology, right? A couple of times the doctor also pointed out that I am going through a little bit of blood pressure issue and all that. So that is how serious it can get. So I just went for a walk downstairs, and while I was going, I must have at least had 12, 15 thoughts in my head, which I was fighting with myself. And most of them, as an overthinker, right? That all these thoughts are, majority of them are only going to be negative thoughts, and you fight with one and you have another. And then you fight with the other, and there's a third one. And it's just constant ranting going on over there in your head. And while I was coming back, I again saw I again felt that same thing, and I was just fighting with my thoughts and fighting and fighting, and the pressure just building up. And I just kind of got tired with it. I was just so not up for it, and I was so tired. You can say that I just couldn't take it anymore, right? And the next day, and I was honestly feeling too exhausted and too worked up and too done with this. Next day, when I was at the gym, and there was an audio tape playing, and again this constant overthinking was going on in my head. And that is when I took a resolution, right? I took a resolution that this has to stop. No matter how, what is at stake, no matter how important things, how valuable things might be that I might be overthinking about, but this really has to stop, because now it is getting out of control. My mind is not in my control anymore. It's just going too high, at a too high pace, right? So that had to stop. So that is when I took a resolution, and trust me, taking a resolution just helps like anything. And coincidentally, at the very same time, there was an audio tape also being played, in which there is an Arabic text which really was a coincidence, you can say, and which just resonated with me in that moment. And this is how it goes: La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And all this means is that any kind of power and any kind of strength in this world lies only with the power that is above, right? That is a higher power. So it doesn't lie with anyone. We might be seeing it as someone has more power than me and someone doesn't have more power than me, but ultimately all power rests in the superpower above. And the speaker also mentioned one very very important thing, that your levels, in Arabic it means darjat, right? Darja. Your levels are determined well in advance above by that superpower. So you might be extremely hardworking, you might be someone who takes a lot of action, but then ultimately there are certain things which are not in your hand, and those powers rests with a superior being, right? A superior power. You might want to call it anything. So that is what at times is required to put your mind at peace. And why I am sharing this and why I decided to do this video today is that it really helped me. I was honestly suffering a lot with this overthinking issue, so much so that things were just going out of hand. And ultimately, those things that I was thinking about didn't really have any value, right? Didn't have so much of a value that I have to, risk my health for that. So if you are going through any such issues in life, just take that resolution, right? Just take that resolution that it has to stop and the control has to be with you. Be at peace in your mind, knowing that there is a power, there's a superior power far more intelligent than you or anybody else in this world who has that control and who will decide what is right and what is wrong and what is to be given and what is not to be given. So there are certain things, and I was just reading it somewhere that work in your circle of influence, right? Not in the circle of concern. So I think it's there in Stephen R. Covey's book as well. And as well, I was reading an article by Warren Buffett recently on one of the websites, which states this: work in your circle of influence, not in your circle of concern, and have faith in that higher power, and just block those mental dialogues, right? Those mental dialogues, just have that strong resolution with yourself that those mental dialogues have to stop instantly. And how it has really helped me, it might even help you, right? And please do share your feedback, your comments in the comment section. And I would like to end the video here. This is First Principles. My name is Ved, and thank you for tuning in.